Welcome back to, hopefully, if you're a repeat offender. It's the third time this crime has been committed, and I'm glad you're here to commit it with me. So I'm just sort of driving through Kilburn. I don't know if I can do this at the same time, but look, there's a big old dome with pointy bits up there. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about the fact that all of the buildings I see make no possible sense in the narrative that I've been given historically. It's all been built by the Victorians, don't you know? Well, I don't reckon they could have done it personally, but this vlog, whatever this thing is that we join each other in a game, this one's about words and the power of words. And the way it's the word itself and the intention and the intonation and the vibration of the delivery of said word as well has a great effect on how that word is received once you've transmitted it or once you've spelt it out. Let's spell it out. We all know those terms. So I reckon I can make myself bigger and the road smaller. There you go. It's a whole new game. Editing on the run. So we taught spelling at school. I'm not going to be the first vlogger to share this with you, but it's a very valid point and worth taking on board if you haven't taken it on board. And also, if you've taken it on board but you figure that other friends maybe haven't, share this. Please share it. I'm going to ask you now, just down there is going to be the like button, a big old thumb up. So give me a like if it's okay, if you don't mind. And subscribe if you haven't. And if you want to write a comment, even if it's derogatory to me, bring it on. I'm okay with that. Cast your spells, my friends, and I'll deflect them, or I'll defend myself from them. Because these are the sort of taught spelling and phonics, phonetics. And when one speaks, it's spellcasting. It's literally casting a spell. And there are loads of different types. I mean, we have charms. If you wanna get help, or if you wanna flirt with somebody, or what have you, then charms are going to be the spells you would use best. If somebody totally turns you over and nauses up your world, you might well want to curse. And people that have very good charms often have very good curses as well. But also, you might not want the spell that's been cast on you to go within, so you might need to defend yourself and deflect that spell, or shoot that spell down, quite literally, by saying to somebody, come on, just spell it out. Well, there are certain words that I've taken on board for myself to eliminate from my language, right? So that I do words, two very, very common words that I've literally decided. It's taken a good few years, because meditation, which is something we'll get into as well on the Old Boy TV channel. I'm happy. I hope you're happy too. And so meditation is something we'll deal with. But meditation, like music, like dance, like medicine should be, is a practice. And so that if something is a practice, it doesn't have a finish, an end. There is no result to it. You just keep on improving. You know, a guitarist will, you know, even the best guitarists in the world, the gods of guitar, are still practicing every day to see if they can get that last little wow wrinkle out of the machine. That symbiosis that they come up with through practice. And I think as it gets smaller, I don't know, it's mildly aggravating. The new game anyway, this bit, and I'll practice making that a little bit better. So it's taken practice to eliminate these two words, but it's a good game. And if you can gamify almost anything for yourself, you'll find it easier to deal with. You know, tidying up, turn into a little game. I'm only going to move around the kitchen clockwise today, and I'm going to try and pick things up as I go around. There's a little game, and it will just take away the mundanity of the tasks that you might be almost not wanting to carry out, but it needs to be done. So the two words that I try not to say, I don't say, I reckon I'm 99.9% there. And when I do say them, it's in context, so I'm going to say them now in context. And the first word that I don't say, I'm going. The first word that I don't say is think. I don't say think to remind myself not to do it. Because what happens when one thinks? Right? We go into our head and we start going to our past, right? And trying to work out a situation that's happening now or is going to happen from stuff that we've got in our memory bank from the past. Now, you don't know whether it's come from you, whether it's come from a book, whether it's come from a newspaper, whether it's come from the television, whether it's come from your parents, whether it's come from a friend, whether it's come from God or the devil himself, right? I mean, there's no way of knowing, and certainly, I feel that one should only really talk of your actual experience, because anything else you can't really trust, and it's so hard to know what is your experience when you go into the past, because the subconscious doesn't differentiate between a viewed experience and a real one. So the subconscious, if you watch a video of being on a roller coaster in the front seat, the subconscious takes on board that as an experience. The conscious knows it hasn't done it, but the subconscious imagines it might have, and that's why we're bombarded with horror and predictive events like buildings falling down, etc., repeatedly in advance of them happening, and in a way that sort of softens the blow when it comes. Because it's just like being in a movie. More magic, by the way, more spells, Hollywood. There's no accidents, no accidents on this earth. So I don't say that word, because also if you go into the future, if you start forward T-wording, right, you're making up a story that doesn't exist. You're planning out a conversation you're going to have with somebody, but you don't know how they're going to respond, what the weather's going to be like. Too many variables. Wait until it's happening and happen with it. It's not happening to you. Whatever goes on in your life, it's not happening to you. You're happening with it. And the way one happens with it has a great effect on the outcome at the end. So, the other word that I've eliminated from my vocabulary, and these words are very common, so the T word wants to come out all the time. I'll tell you what, I catch myself, not quite as obviously as that often, but I'll catch myself, and as it wants to spew its way out, I'll go, well, what I sense, what I see, what I feel, what I've witnessed, what I experienced, etc. Right? To remind myself, so these are things that are tangible to me, that I can actually properly express from my being and my soul, rather than a collection of gobbledygook that I can't, it's hard to make sense of, because the big word comes into it as well. Now this is the word, this is one of, if not one of, it's possibly the most powerful spell. And I don't say it to remind myself not to do it, because if you do it, you are under this spell. And that word is believe. Believe. Leave. Be. Leave your being. What do we watch? What do we play as kids? What do we watch on TV and in theatres and make believe, right? And often these are things are scripted first, so the spells have already been cast and then scribed in order to make believe, right? And if you believe anything, it's not of your experience, right? It's a story that somebody told you. I wouldn't need to believe it if I'd actually experienced it, because it would have been a happening. You know, people go, well, you've got to believe in yourself, you know. And I go, well, why would I need to do that? Because here I am. I don't know. I'm here, right? Now that's a big debate, where I am and who I am and all of those things. But nonetheless, I don't need to be word it. What if you want people to be word in a god, Krishna, Allah, you know, whatever deity you want to choose probably from your family tradition, generally more than anything else. And the thing is, most of the people that believe and say they believe and accept that spell within them, for me, they're not opening their eyes wide enough. They're good souls and they're good people. I mean, most people that get involved in any religion, apart from at the very top of the pyramids, where they're all wrong uns, in my books, they're all dark wrong uns and they're all in on it together. But that's another video, thank the Lord. The B word. Yeah, so, you know, if somebody says they B word in God, Allah, Krishna, whatever, then I'll still love them, as I've said. But if they say they feel that there's God, Allah, Krishna, whatever their deity is, now I'm more interested in what do you feel. And if they say they know categorically, that's a very big term. I'm somebody that probably practices Taoism more than anything else. Anyone that says they know certainly doesn't, because it's a B word. That imagination of knowing, because everything can change. And so, you know, if they say they know there's a deity that is, they've got my full attention now, and I'll listen to everything they say. I won't be word any of it, but if it makes me feel different, if it makes sense, if it makes reasoning to me, if whatever it does, if it creates a zing within inside, then I might walk that path for a while. I might give that a go. And so these spells, you know, that get cast, we cast them at one another. At this point, I'm casting my spells towards you via this device of electricity. And you know, the fact of the matter is, if you want to cast a spell really big, right, and convince everybody of, like, say for instance, that there's a really bad illness that spreads through the air, and if you don't stay inside, everyone's going to die, and if you wear a mask, that you can smell chips and things through, right? So really fine particles within the air that are getting through, but that will save you, and just all of that other nonsense. If you want to make that concrete in people, if you want to put that fear into people, you need to be able to cast your spell very, very broadly. It must be a broadcast, and it's broadcast media, of course, television. The tube is as guilty as anything else. There's just as many people spouting, you know, propaganda that they don't even know they're doing. They're not doing it on purpose. They're not paid to do it. They just have read the right books and imagine that they know, but that's just a B word. So, as Osho, the great past now guru of perversion and getting on it and free love, ruining proper spirituality and peace for everybody, just a load of smiling idiots in purple and, you know, and orange going, oh, we're all so happy. You know what? You need to be sad in order to understand what happy is. Be in the middle. That's where you want to be. Aim for the centre, and then you can experience both happy and sad. And they rely on each other. They're as paired up as left can't be left without there being a right. Up is fully dependent on down. All of these are words of the Tao Te Ching as well from the great Lao Tzu, which there'll be lots of specials on the Tao Te Ching. Specials. Tao Te Ching. Right, I've put this director's view thing on, which has been a waste of time. I'm going to end it now. This is a bit of a filler. I'm going to make proper films, but at the moment I've got to keep uploading. So please share, please like, please subscribe. I'm boring myself, so I'm probably boring you. I'm happy. I hope you're happy too. See you in the next time.